Just as a disclaimer, we want you to know that some of the movies that we will be reviewing were shot in a different time and era where people of race and sex were not treated equally. We understand this and hope you do too. The movies or anything that happened on the sets are not the views of this podcast or what this show is intended to be all about.
Exactly. And we want to give due diligence in presenting the movie and not the views of the cast or directors or anyone involved. But we also feel it's necessary to let the audience know some of the background information to get a feel for what was happening at the time of shooting the film. Again, we hope you understand that we do not agree with everything that went on, and we just want to give out the information. And with that being said, hope you enjoy the show.
Bull, the raging bull. Let's hear for the great Jake LaMotta, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm the best. I can take it more than anybody.
You're dead, you're married. Leave the young girls for me.
There's no way I'm going down. I don't go down for nobody.
What is it with him? Why does he have to make it so hard on himself?
If you beat Trigger Ready, you'll get a shot at the title. You feel that way?
There's no one else around who wants to fight me. They're all afraid.
There's a lot of bad things, Joey. Maybe it's coming back to me.
Alright guys, welcome back to the Tragedy of Cinema. I'm your host Jimbo, and joined once again by
the lovable test baby Kyle.
The Raging Cajun Kyle. This is episode A2. We'll be talking about the sports movie Raging Bull from 1980. But Kyle, before we get started,
alright,
I usually throw you a question or some odd fact out there. So, I know that you've been taking over and doing the awards for Terrence, so I found something that's very interesting that showed up in our awards several times, and this is 10 movies that have been nominated for both an Oscar as well as a Razzie Award.
Ooh,
so not just something good for the Oscar, but the Razzie is extremely opposite, as in terrible.
Yeah, exactly.
So number one, Pearl Harbor from 2001.
Mm-hmm. There's definitely some Oscar parts about it. It's more of a Razzie film, though.
The Lost World Jurassic Park in 1997.
Ooh, I wouldn't give it a Razzie or an Oscar. I think it's just okay.
It was what like the worst remake of a sequel or worst sequel or whatever.
Worst remake of a sequel, but remake of a... you get confused.
Transformers Revenge of the Fallen in 2009.
Oh, God. I remember that for your consideration things. There was a huge political thing. And I think this was the sound editing they wanted for that movie.
Armageddon in 1998.
That is a Razzie all the way. That's just not even nominated at all.
Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Oh, that's
from 1999.
Wow, that's harsh.
Yeah,
I wouldn't Razzie it, but I also wouldn't Oscar it.
Right. How the Grinch Stole Christmas in 2000.
Was that the Jim Carrey one?
Yep.
I That's just a Razzie movie to me. But I'm not a big Grinch fan.
The Razzie was nominated for the kids flick for the worst screenplay, worst remake, or sequel. But it was also nominated for 3 Oscars: Best Costume Design, Best Art Direction, and it won for Best Makeup. Batman Forever in 1995.
What Oscar was that nominated for? Does it say?
Let's see. It was nominated for the worst original song for the Razzie with "Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me" by Kill Me by U2.
Gosh.
But it's also nominated at the Golden Globes for Best Original Song. So
just everything's wrong about that. Everything's wrong about that.
Suicide Squad in 2016.
That one. Yeah. Not the new one.
Jared Leto was nominated for the worst actor for his polarizing performance as the Joker, but it also won for the best makeup and hairstyling.
That's so weird.
The Hunchback of Notre Dame, the Disney cartoon from 1996.
What? You can't Razzie that movie. That movie's a classic.
I'm trying to see what the Razzie was for it.
Razzie is cruel.
Was nominated for the worst written film, grossing over $100 million. Okay.
That's such
The
a
Joker,
weird...
2019.
A Joker 2019 got a Razzie.
Yeah, and it also won 11 Academy Awards, I think. So,
personally
here it is. Here's get this one. Are you ready for this? This is how the Razzies work. So the Razzie that it was nominated for was the Joker was nominated for the Razzie of the worst reckless disregard for human life and public property, losing to Rambo: The Last Blood. So it didn't win the Razzie. It was only nominated. Don't forget. So
I get the joke they're saying, but it's still really dumb.
I thought that was hilarious. I thought I'd throw that out there.
Thank you for sharing that. And instead of I could do a dodge question this week, that's lucky for me.
Well, actually, no, I lied. Here's the question.
Oh, no.
Kidding. So, Kyle, we're getting ready to talk about this hard, heavy-hitting, hard-to-watch movie, but it is a very good movie.
Yes.
I don't know how. It's kind of like we just talked about with a Oscar-nominated performance and a Razzie at the same time. So let's go ahead and dive into it, Kyle.
All right, Raging Bull, released on December 19th, 1980. Should be close to...
I was about 3 years old.
Yeah. 1980. Yeah, that'd be 2040, and they say 20 years ago. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you mean the 80s? And they're like, no, what are you talking about? That's my life story. Anyways, directed by, of course, the legendary Martin Scorsese, who needs no introduction because he directed everything. If it's a movie with Italian-American, then a good chance Scorsese has something to do with it. Writers were Jake LaMotta for, of course, his biography and life story. Joseph Carter and Peter Savage, Paul Schrader, all part of the acting for the screenplay, and also Mardik Martin. That's a redundant name. We're also that for the screenplay. We have a budget of $18 million in 1980. That'd be worth about $60.5 million today. Opening weekend, we have a dreadfully low $128,590, which would be the equivalent of about gotta do the math real quick right there. About $4.3 million today, roughly. And then we have the gross worldwide, came out to $23.4 million, and that'd be about $78.5 million today. So still probably a bit of a box office disappointment, as they say, because I'm sure there's also marketing for this movie that also, extended the budget, went past the budget and everything like that. So sadly, an underperforming film. Technical details. We have a runtime of 129 minutes. Sound mix is a legendary Dolby Stereo. Color info. This is a black and white film with some brief home movie sections that are in color. Very odd, but unusual, but also tasteful, I guess. In the aspect ratio department, we have a 1.85 by 1. Then the camera, we have the Aeroflex 35BL Zeiss Super Speed and Cook Verotal lenses. Sure I pronounced that perfectly. And the film length we have for the Italian release, really that's the only one we have here, is 3,347 meters. And for the printed format, of course, 35 millimeter in film quality. I think that's right. Going forward, we have the Terrence Memorial Awards section. He's not dead, don't worry, he's fine. He's just been absent for a while, just poking fun there. We have all the awards though, and we of course we're going to start with the first award that I see worth Bringing down here, we have the Guild for German Art House Cinemas. It won the Gold Foreign Film Award. Then we're going to the BAFTA Awards in 1982. It was nominated for the Best Actor for Robert De Niro. It won Best Editing and also won Most Astounding Newcomer to Leading Film Roles, Joe Pesci. Good for him. Next up, we have the Academy Awards, good old Oscars. It won the Oscar for Best Actor in the Leading Role to Robert De Niro. It was nominated for Best Picture, nominated for Best Actor in a Supporting Role for Joe Pesci, and it was also nominated for Best Actress in a Supporting Role to Kathy Moriarty. Also nominated for Best Director, Martin Scorsese, Best Cinematography for Michael Chapman, and it won Best Film Editing for Thelma Schoonmaker, and it was also nominated for Best Sound. Next up, we have the 1981 American Cinema Editors Awards. It won Best Edited Feature. Then we have the Boston Society of Film Critics Awards in 1981. It won Best Film, Best Actor awarded to Robert De Niro, and Best Cinematography awarded to Michael Chapman. Next up in 1981, we have the David D. Donatello Awards. It was nominated for Best Foreign Actor to Robert De Niro and Best Foreign Director to Martin Scorsese. In 1981, we have the Directors Guild of America. It was nominated for the Outstanding Directorial Achievement in Motion Pictures. Next up, we have the Golden Globes, where it was nominated for Best Actress in a Supporting Role for Kathy Moriarty, Best Actor in a Supporting Role for Joe Pesci, New Star of the Year in Motion Picture for Kathy Moriarty, Best Screenplay Adaptation for Paul Schrader and Mardik Martin. Then we have the nomination for Best Motion Picture in Drama, nominated for Best Director, Martin Scorsese, and it won the Best Actor in a Motion Picture to Robert De Niro. Next up in 81, we have the Italian National Syndicate of Film Journalists. It was nominated for the Silver Ribbon and Best Foreign Director Award to Martin Scorsese. Also in 81, we have the National Society of Film Critics Awards in the US of A. It was a second place winner for Best Actor for Robert De Niro. Best Film, tied with Every Man for Himself in second place. And third place for Best Supporting Actress, Kathy Moriarty, of course. Best Director was written to Martin Scorsese. Best Supporting Actor, Joe Pesci. Best Cinematography to Michael Chapman. Then we have the 1980 Jubilee Award. It was nominated for Best International Actor, Robert De Niro. 1980 again, we had the Los Angeles Film Critics Association Awards. It won Best Picture and Best Actor, awarded to Robert De Niro. National Board of Review in US of A in 1980. It won the the Top 10 Films Award. And Best Supporting Actor, Joe Pesci, and Best Actor for Robert De Niro. Going forward in 1980, we have the New York Film Critics Cycle Awards. Cycle Awards.
The Cycle of Life?
The Cycle of Life. The Circle Awards. It is Circle. I'm getting my words messed up today. We have one Best Supporting Actor for Joe Pesci, and that is the awards for Raging Bull. Moving on to my debut part of my
debut. He's only been doing it 9 months, but hey,
I'm doing it for 9 months. It's my debut. This is my first podcast, everybody. I'm Kyle's new clone. It's a fresh batch.
What was the thing in The Last Starfighter? Where he made the computer thing that fell down. Remember, and he was just
the skin job. After what they call it.
Yeah.
The changeling. I'm thinking like Multiplicity when they had like that knockoff guy when the clone cloned himself like 3 times the copy of a copy, and he's like, no.
The Michael Keaton.
Yeah, Michael Keaton. All right, so going on to my clone debut of Raging Bull's cast, we of course have the legendary Robert De Niro playing Jake LaMotta. Robert De Niro, of course, legendary actor, needs an introduction. He's been in tons of other Martin Scorsese films like Cape Fear, and The Irishman, and Goodfellas, and Casino, and a ton of other films like that.
Scarface.
Also, Scarface, Taxi Driver, The Deer Hunter, which you covered on this very podcast not too long ago. So, a lot of great movies from Robert De Niro. Then we have Kathy Moriarty playing Vicky LaMotta. She herself appeared in other films such as the 1991 Soap Dish and the 1999 film But I'm the Cheerleader. And she appeared...
See, you were wrong, Kyle. I was trying to catch you to see if you could catch that. He wasn't in Scarface. That was Al Pacino.
You said Scarface.
I know, but I wanted to see what you were doing. You're the cast.
I assumed you were right.
You do the cast.
I do the cast means I tell 3 movies that they were in, and then you just interjected with Scarface.
And you just like, yeah, Scarface.
I'm not going to call you a liar, Jimbo, on this podcast.
I called you one.
Yeah, no, I wasn't. I was going with the flow of the podcast. I wasn't going to say, hold up, Jimbo, he wasn't in Scarface, and then like nail it down your head and like Jimbo was wrong, everybody.
I was waiting to see. I always throw stuff out there.
Fraud.
See, I throw stuff out there to see if you catch it. That would just.
I will just roll with anything you throw my way. If you told me Robert De Niro was an alien, I would say, yeah, sure. Then keep going with the podcast.
In Kyle's defense, when we first started talking about the podcast and movies at work, he bought Scarface, but little did he know it wasn't the.
It's like the 1918 version.
Yeah, it's like the old black and white.
It wasn't the Al Pacino version. It was like one that was like
it was like the original, man.
Yeah, the original
way. Scarface. And Kyle was never so disappointed when he pulled it up.
What just happened to me? I've never watched that version either. That movie probably has nothing to do with the Al Pacino version at all. It's probably like not the same product. Probably just the same title.
Or as you say, the Robert De Niro version.
The Robert De Niro version of 1918.
Wait, Kyle's into one of them, what do you call it, the Mandela effects, where he thinks Robert De Niro was...
Robert De Niro is 200 years old. That's my internal lore. Okay, Robert De Niro, famously not a star of Scarface.
Apologies.
Also appeared in The Deer Hunter in 1978, which we most recently covered earlier this year. Also an excellent movie. Then we have Kathy Moriarty playing Vicky LaMotta, who I already covered this part here. I'm getting redundant now. You've messed me up, Jimbo. I've lost my place, so I'm going to keep going with it anyways.
Hey, Kyle.
So, yeah.
Kathy Moriarty.
Kathy Moriarty.
Not in Scarface either.
Not in Scarface either, to your knowledge.
This is her film.
I'm going to tell you. Yeah, Kathy Moriarty. Yeah, she won the award for it. Vicky LaMotta, like I said. So, Soap Dish 91 and But I'm the Cheerleader in 1999.
But I'm the Cheerleader.
And she was back again with Robert De Niro in the film Analyze That in 2002. Wow. Joe Pesci plays Joey. Of course... Joe Pesci, also legendary actor in his own right, appeared in many other Martin Scorsese films along Robert De Niro, including Goodfellas, The Irishman, Casino, Not Scarface, and he would also best recognize films such as like My Cousin Vinny or Home Alone 1 and 2. So great actor in his own right, great comedic actor and a great dramatic actor as well. So really impressive, good body of work from him. Frank Vincent plays Salvi. Frank Vincent also, like Joe Pesci and a few other actors, appeared in many other films with Robert De Niro, such as Goodfellas and The Casino. Of course, Frank Vincent also might be most recognized as his role in The Sopranos between 2004 and 2007. Sadly, he passed away just in 2017 at the age of 80. So he's sadly missed, but a good actor. He played a lot of great roles. Next up, we have Nicholas Colasanto playing Tommy Como. He was in films such as... he was Ernie, a coach in the 1982 Cheers show for the first... I believe it was only the first 2 seasons before he sadly passed away in, I believe it was 84, I believe, when he passed away. I think so. And he was also in the film Fat City in 1972 and Family Plot in 1976.
That's where we should say that my studio is in Fat City. Coming to you live from Fat City.
It's coming to you live from Fat City, everybody. And just play like a potty noise on the... We need a soundboard for this podcast sometime. Okay, so we have next up we have Teresa Saldana playing Lenore. I believe it's Lenore. She was in the 1978 film I Want to Hold Your Hand. I guess that has to be like a Beatles fan film to some degree. Then we have the 1984 film The Evil That Men Do, and the 1988 film The Night Before. Next up we have Mario Gallo playing Mario. He was in the 1976 original King Kong release. He was also in the 1988 Revenge of the Ninja, great title of the movie, and the 1975 film Aloha, Bobby and Rose. Next up, we have Frank Adonis playing Patsy. He was in such films as Goodfellas with, of course, Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci and a bunch of other Italian Americans. He was also in the film Ghost Dog, The Way the Samurai with Forrest Whitaker. And he was in Ace Ventura Pet Detective. I believe he was like the chubby assistant to Ace Ventura, I believe, in the first film, if I remember correctly. Next up, we have Joseph Bono playing Kudo, I believe is his name in the film. Just like Joe Pesci, he also appeared with Robert De Niro in Goodfellas and The Irishman and Casino. Then we have, he was also in films like Analyze That with Robert De Niro, and he was in the film Blazing in 2001. I believe that's all the films he ever had. Then we have Frank Topman playing Toppy. This is the only film he ever appeared in. Then we have Lori Ann Flax playing Irma, and this is the only film she was in. And then finally we have Charles Scorsese, Martin Scorsese's father, who was playing alongside of, let's see here, which character was it again? I believe it was, he was actually with Nicholas Colasanto, coach for the one scene with Tommy Como. He was with him doing his assistance. Charlie Scorsese apparently had many like walk-ons for Martin Scorsese films. It's like a little brief cameo of his father.
Well, he also did the filming of the wedding on top of the building scene.
Yes,
until he fell sick or whatever. So
yeah, so a little interesting actor in his own right there too. And that is the cast of Raging Bull. So Jimbo,
and Scarface,
take it from me.
All right,
take it from me.
One thing that everyone needs to remember about this movie is it's rated R, and it's rated R for a reason.
Mm-hmm. I guess I should cover it myself real quick too. For a very brief synopsis or plot summary, real quick. This is about the real life story of Jake LaMotta, a man whose violence and anger served him well in a boxing ring, but left him alone in life in many harsh regards. And that's kind of like the very
yeah, he's very what's what I'm looking for? He's very. The word I'm looking for is like he's very insecure, I guess.
Yes, I'm a very insecure man.
He's very jealous. He's very hot-headed. He's just a very violent man.
In modern times, he might be described as bipolar, even being like changing moods on hand to hand, getting incredibly angry very quickly. And of course, with his immense strength as a boxer and training, he is a very dangerous man.
Well, I mean, it's even to the point where he's getting beat in the face and he doesn't feel anything. Remember, he's just like, hit me in the face. He
doesn't react to it at all.
He's like, is that all you got? You know, and it's really crazy. But going back to the R-rated filming, this. The language in this movie is over the top. So I did in the notes. The F word, if you will, is used 114 times in this film. To put it into comparison, Scarface uses the F word 218 times, and Pulp Fiction uses it 271 times. So not as quite as many as those, but still enough that it's.
Certainly in the ballpark where it's part of their common lexicon.
It's kind of like over the top. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just be prepared if you're going to watch this that there is a lot of coarse language in this.
A lot of coarse language and very adult situations, and not in a good way of like
wife beating and
domestic abuse, anger, just in general mental illness depicted
drugs.
In very drug use. Really, like it goes very, very dark in a lot of sad ways.
Right.
And it's unfortunate to have a real life story about it, but also I guess it makes for an interesting film.
When the real Jake LaMotta saw this movie, he made him realize for the first time, man, I was a terrible person. So he asked the real Vicky LaMotta, he's like, was I really like that? And she says, oh no, you were worse. So that just goes to show you what kind of film this is. Yeah, so also in 1978, when Scorsese was at an all-time low after his last movie, New York in 1977, the year I was born.
Surprise! He's old.
That movie bombed at the box office. Also, followed by a near overdose resulting from an addiction to cocaine, Robert De Niro visited him at the hospital and told him that he had to clean himself up and make this movie about a boxer. De Niro had asked Scorsese many times, but he had always refused because he didn't like sports movies anyway. But De Niro kept persisting, and he eventually gave in. Scorsese believed that his American career was over anyway, and he wanted to do one more final film there, and then moved to Europe to make smaller movies. Many, including Scorsese, claims that De Niro saved Scorsese's life by getting him back into work, and that this movie cemented Scorsese's reputation as one of the most important American filmmakers.
That is well deserved, and yes, I agree with that. I totally agree with the film audience that Robert De Niro definitely saved Scorsese's career, and in turn, Scorsese saved his career.
Right.
They have a relationship that is made millions and made great films.
Right.
Also, producer Irvin Winkler was brought on in 1975 too, with Martin Scorsese was signed on as well. And he first became involved with the film. It took him roughly 5 years for the script to be finalized, so it was clearly a struggle to adapt this film with the screenplay. And as we've gone with some of the details we may cover later, like some of the adaptation work, it was a fine line between going too far or not far enough to try and.
Well, I think the actual screenplay was written in only 2 weeks in the Caribbean. So from the screenplay to all the changes they made probably took about all that time. You know what
just
I mean?
to be finalized and finished up and get all the details sorted out. But it's still like, it was like, this was a tough film to make, I think.
Robert De Niro, basically, he had Jake LaMotta there with him. And he went through some extensive training, even to the point where I think they said he went over 1,000 rounds with Jake LaMotta in a boxing ring. And that LaMotta really thought that De Niro had what it took to be actually a contender. De Niro did enter 3 boxing matches in Brooklyn, and he actually won 2 of them. So I'm talking about taking your role to the next level. And we'll talk about it here in a little bit, where he adds the weight towards the end of the movie, because that's really crazy. It's not prosthetics; he actually added that weight.
No, he actually did it for real. Yeah, we have that later on in the film. Speaking of also Robert De Niro was trained there. They had a boxing ball that was set up just outside the boxing ring for Robert De Niro to punch between takes. So they properly motivated him by playing music from The Clash, and this is so that he would. I know. It was the 80s, the late 70s. But this is so he would keep sweating in the movie, though, so it looked better than black and white to have that kind of reflective glossiness of the sweat. So he kept training himself through the entire film, even during shooting.
Right.
And,
so even one of the reasons why it was made in black and white, not only for authenticity of the period of the time, but also to differentiate from Rocky, which came out in 1976, as well as Rocky II, 79, the main event in 79, and The Prize Fighter in 79. So he had all these boxing movies come out. Another reason was Scorsese didn't want to depict all the blood that it would take to do in that color picture. So they used chocolate syrup in the black and white. And he didn't want all that blood to be on the screen. And not only that, one thing he said that when he noticed boxing is that they always take that bloody sponge and put it down the back, and see blood. And then the blood that would be on the ring ropes. He said that stuff that stuck out to him, he didn't want to do it that way. So
no, I totally understand that. The only other movie I think of that used chocolate syrup was like The Fifth Element. I don't remember.
Psycho.
Oh, and Psycho, of course. Yeah, of course. The first film that really used that. But also, I remember The Fifth Element specifically because there was a color movie that used chocolate syrup, so it looked very weird, but in a good way. Yeah.
Do you remember the scene where Joe Pesci and him are sparring with Robert De Niro, and he's hitting him in the stomach, remember, or whatever? He actually broke Joe Pesci's rib in that scene. It actually stays in the film. De Niro hits Pesci in the side. Pesci groans, and there's a quick cut to another angle. So he actually broke Joe Pesci's rib.
Jeez.
Wow. And also that Pesci and De Niro lived together and trained together for some time before this filming began. So ever since this time, the two have remained very close friends. So
I wonder how strong Pesci actually got for that. And he's a bit of a smaller guy.
He's a man of stature.
Exactly. Well, but also he's got that small man energy of just like I'm gonna mess up anybody. He's already secured that reputation as a firecracker, basically.
Right.
For casino and films like that too. So maybe he was a contender who, after all. Yeah.
Robert De Niro read the autobiography of Jake LaMotta while filming The Godfather Part 2 in 1974, and immediately saw the potential for a film to make with his collaborator, Martin Scorsese. It took over 4 years for De Niro to convince everyone, including Scorsese, to get on board for this film.
Yeah. Jake and Joey LaMotta both lived at the age of 95 years old.
Wow.
Good for them. Yeah. Especially for how hard the lives they lived. Lived 95. That's
sound effects for punches landing were made by squashing melons and tomatoes. Sound effects for camera flashings going off were sounds of gunshots. The original tapes were deliberately destroyed by the sound technician Frankie Warner to prevent them from ever being used again. So that's very interesting too.
Yeah, I always think like there's a lot of stuff like using realistic sounds and you want to get that authenticity, but I do love when they go for full stylized, like crushing fruits or making noises like that to actually convey how violent it is by like the actual destruction of an object. It just gives a lot more of a stylized, more surreal, and even like more it gives more punch to the punch.
Hilarious, Kyle. Not only we've moved on from the pirate jokes, now we're on the fruit jokes.
Raging Bull was the inspiration for Fruit Ninja. It's a direct line. Raging Bull, Fruit Ninja.
Do you remember the scene where Joe Pesci and Robert De Niro are like, hit me, hit me, hit me? They're actually punching each other. Mm-hmm. Also, back to the Hershey syrup. They actually did use Hershey's because you could tell the difference in chocolate syrup.
Exactly. You know the difference. When it's good fake blood, it's Hershey's
De
fake
Niro
blood.
wore a nose prosthetic, so when he got hit, the blood would just spray everywhere.
Yeah,
that was really crazy to watch, too.
There was definitely some over-the-top moments, too, in the film of just almost Kill Bill levels of blood just spraying everywhere. That's a little much, maybe.
Yeah.
You'd be dead, right?
Robert De Niro gained a record 60 pounds to play the older Jake LaMotta, and Joe Pesci actually lost weight for the same role, the same scene. It was eventually the record weight gain was broken by Vincent D'Onofrio, who gained 70 pounds for his role as Private Leonard Gomer Pyle Lawrence in Full Metal Jacket.
The only other body transforming actor who does weight gains like that, Christian Bale, also at the top of my head. I know
didn't Bridget Jones do it, or the Bridget Jones's Diary? What's her name? Renee Zellweger.
Yeah, Renee was
I think she did it too.
I know Christian Bale. He went for the Machinist. He got down to 120 pounds, even though he was 6 foot tall or something like that. Or it was something even less than that. But he was skin and bones, and then he went right on to gain another 50 pounds of muscle for the Batman. He bulked up too much for Batman. It was insane. Christian Bale, insane actor.
The one reason that this boxing movie is different than movies like Rocky is that the camera was actually inside the ring for the fight scenes instead of being shot between the ropes. Mm-hmm. Here's something else. The real Jake LaMotta was partially deaf for most of his life, so most of his anger probably came from not being able to understand what people were saying. He had 30% use in his right ear and 70% in his left, so that could have been some of the triggers for...
Yeah, so that could have been and that could have been a part of it, injuries from fighting, something like that.
What'd you say about me?
Yeah. And getting frustrated that they're not speaking up to you and misunderstanding like that. So, granted, this film, I would say a little bit before how well we understood boxing injuries at the time and how well those affect the brain. I mean, so many boxers from that era, especially, have so many long-term brain diseases or brain issues now. So it's not surprising they would have violent tendencies.
The scene where Vicky LaMotta is first introduced to Jake LaMotta by the chain link fence was completely improvised by Kathy Morty and Robert De Niro. To visually achieve Jake's growing desperation, diminishing stature, and perceptual distortion, Martin Scorsese shot the later boxing scenes in a ring 4 times as large. Which wow. I'd have to go back and watch it because that's probably showing how. Earlier in the film when he's in the regular size boxing ring, he's on top of the world. Then as he starts losing everything, he probably looks smaller in the ring. That'd be something to see now.
That's a visual indication for his own insecurity that he feels he's not good enough as he continues to get beat in this fight. And
right.
That's some really incredible filmmaking from Martin Scorsese again. Just he knows what he's doing. Even if you don't know it, you see it.
So this film's basically broken down into the younger version, the younger LaMotta. Then he gets married, his family LaMotta, so that'd probably be the second one. And then the third one's after his boxing career is up. I would say that's probably how you look at this.
Close to 3 major parts, and I give interesting enough, part of Scorsese's isms, if you were, he tends to make films about an entire person's life, and I really appreciate sometimes like Wolf of Wall Street and a bunch of other Goodfellas, he takes it from beginning to close to the end of their lives, their entire story. So interesting to see that, and that's how it kind of gets divided in 3 parts.
The majority of this film, as we said, LaMotta was shot as a younger man, including the boxing scenes were all shot first. Then production shut down for several months, giving Robert De Niro enough time to bulk up for his role as the older and much fatter LaMotta. In those months, De Niro gained 60 pounds, as we have said, practically eating his way through Europe with big meals. De Niro at one point would eat a dinner heavy in pasta and drink it down with a vanilla milkshake before going to bed. I mean, that's just a typical Saturday night for me, except chocolate milkshake. It was his idea to do it this way. These scenes were generally shot with a minimum of takes as De Niro became more exhausted quickly.
Just imagine how excited you'd be. Imagine you're a Marvel actor nowadays who does that Chris Pratt 6-month workout routine. It's okay, for the next half of the movie, you got to be real fat. So we're going to shut down for 6 months. Just pig out and just go for it.
Just be laid in a bed,
going home with a full cake.
Just be in bed with a bell. Ding 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 ding.
Exactly. Bring the tub of ice cream.
I can't believe it's not a bluebell.
So excited, like I get to indulge.
Yeah, just go to a buffet and just sit there.
It's awful, but also funny.
No original music was composed for this film. All the music was taken from the works of an Italian composer named Pietro Mascagni.
Mascagni.
Yeah, Martin Scorsese selected because of that quality of sadness to it that he felt hit the mood.
Yeah. Speaking of music, in Jake's nightclub scene in 1956, the background music is Frank Sinatra's recording of "Come Fly with Me," which wasn't recorded till 1957. So it was impossible. He had a He had a record from the future.
We got to go back to
the future. Back to the future.
Jake LaMotta's brother Joseph actually sued the production for $2.5 million for the film's alleging unflattering depiction of him.
Yeah, Martin Scorsese's been also in hot water for that before.
I don't know if he won, but I'm just saying.
I know. I don't know if it's still all going up. I know we had another similar lawsuit for the Wolf of Wall Street. One of the stockholders, whatever, sued him for his unflattering depiction. Going back to the bar scene I talked about again, in 1956 in Jake LaMotta's club, Jake asked the girls that don't have IDs that they're 21.
Oh, yeah.
But the drinking age in Florida was actually just 18 until 1980. So.
But wasn't she only 16?
She was only 14.
14, yeah.
14.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's still a big difference there.
But still, he's asking if she's 21, even though she only needed to be 18.
And what he says, and I think LaMotta said at the bar, he's like, well, a pretty girl like you wouldn't be allowed in here.
Any girl that can kiss like that, can drink in my club.
So you just kind of think, what kind of character was LaMotta in real life? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Although only a few minutes of boxing appear in the movie, they were so precisely choreographed that it actually took 6 weeks to film. Mm-hmm. And that whole time, it only comes up to barely 10 minutes of the whole runtime, which the runtime was almost 3 hours.
No, it takes only 10 minutes, but it's a very important 10 minutes for the entire film. If you don't have those right, the rest of the film falls apart.
Neither director of photography Michael Chapman nor Martin Scorsese could get the right look for the amateur LaMotta home movies that comprise the only color sequence in this movie. If you watch this movie, it's in black and white, but when they show the old home videos, I guess, with the 8 millimeters, they're all in color, which I thought was really neat. Both men gave in to their natural instincts for camera placement and framing, which was the antithesis of what they wanted to achieve. They solved the problem by asking teamsters working on the set to handle the camera in order to give 16 millimeters, not 8 millimeters, the appropriate feel of the amateur home movies.
Amateur home movie. That makes sense. That's a good choice.
In 2007, this AFI Institute ranked this as the number 4 greatest movie of all time.
Yep.
Now, Kyle, what's your thoughts on that?
I think that's totally fair. I mean,
as number 4 of all time.
Number 4 of all time. I mean, that's comes to personal judgment. Especially if you're a person who's faced similar demons to as Jake LaMotta clearly has faced in these films, you may hold this film very dearly to your heart as an example of what not to do and what to strive to do.
No, I understand that, but what I'm saying is, out of all the movies we've covered, I mean, you're talking Gone with the Wind, Godfather, Wizard of Oz, all this stuff, and Psycho, and you're going to put this as number 4?
Not personally.
No, but I'm just saying, do you agree with it being number 4?
I'm okay with it. I agree with it. It is a very good film. It is an incredible film, near perfect. So I'm probably fine with it being in that high of regard. It wouldn't I don't personally relate to him that way, so I wouldn't. It's not. I don't hold it that dearly to myself. But to a majority of people, maybe.
Yeah, and you probably think Die Hard's a Christmas movie, too.
Exactly.
So you were wrong there,
I think The Fifth Element is the best Die Hard movie. That's right. Said it.
It was claimed that in this film that LaMotta was never knocked down, but in real life, LaMotta was knocked down by Danny Nardico in a fight in Coral Gables, Florida.
Yep. Speaking of the real life versus the movie, the television commentary during Jake LaMotta's last fight with Sugar Ray Robinson, when he loses the title, is the real broadcast of the bout. So they use the real radio commentary for the film scene.
I thought that sounded different,
distorted the right way. It's too good.
Oh, look! It's our normal sirens coming during while we
hear Jake LaMotta.
Kathy and Morty's hair was set with corn syrup, which caused problems in the exterior scenes because bees were attracted to it.
That's terrifying. That's terrifying. Oh my god!
Did
You filmed a scene and then a swarm of bees.
Wasn't it one of those old
you.
hairstyles called the beehive?
Exactly. In her case, it was very literal.
De Niro had already been very well acquainted with Jake LaMotta since 1974 when LaMotta gave De Niro a copy of his biography, Raging Bull, My Story, which he signed with the words, this is what he put on the book, for the only actor who in the world could portray my crazy life. So LaMotta said, hey, you know, if anybody's going to do me, my life story, you would be the one.
You get the...
They spent the entire shoot together so De Niro could portray his character accurately. LaMotta said that De Niro had the ability to be a contender and that he would be happy to be his manager and trainer.
Let's hear this. The biblical quote at the end of the film, "All that I know is that I was blind and now I can see," was a reference to Martin Scorsese's film professor to whom the film was dedicated. The man sadly passed away before the film was released, so Scorsese credits his teachers with helping him to see. So, nice little, it's an amazing dedication there.
Oh, by the way, the script that I said only took 2 weeks to write was on the island of Saint Martin.
Saint Martin.
In the Caribbean. The opening sequence in which Jake prances around the ring in slow motion, which was a really cool scene. Remember when he's dancing and fighting with his robot at the beginning?
Yeah.
Featured the lighting from photographer's flashes. However, there was only one person setting off the flash bulbs. That was director of photography Michael Chapman running around the ring in a black velour tracksuit. So he'd flash one, run around in the background, flash another.
That's right. Yeah. Speaking of other you mean the top 4 movie of all time, this film is included in Roger Ebert's great movies list.
This was voted as the 3rd greatest sports movie of all time after Rocky in 1976 and Bull Durham in 1988.
The 5th greatest sports movie of all time. Third. Okay, so what would be your other 2 on top of that?
Well, they say it's Rocky and Bull Durham. I like Hoosiers. Major League.
I never actually sat through Hoosiers.
It's a great movie.
Basketball, that's the best movie.
Oh, no.
Dodgeball, a true underdog story.
But to have two boxing movies in the top 3, I don't know, man. This is... I'd better just save that for later. You've got so many movies. You got 8 Men Out. You've got Rocky. You've got Hoosiers. You've got Remember the Titans. You got RC Blues. You've got Major League. You've got
there's
Field of Dreams. You've got a bunch of them. So
Rollerball.
What's Days of Thunder?
Days of Thunder. Oh yeah, Days of Thunder.
Driver with Sylvester. Maybe not so much. So
just trying to think of bad movies.
Kyle, you got anything else over there?
No, not here. Everything else I have is like small little film mistakes, and those I don't really find interesting, so I just kind of skip over them.
All right, Kyle.
Okay, final thoughts, basically?
Let me know what you thought of Raging Bull.
I think this is an astounding film. It is a difficult film to watch, but a worthwhile film to watch. Truly something that I find, captivating and moving and disheartening in so many ways. It's a film that you could leave a little bit sad after watching, but also it can serve as a lesson for how to live your life and how to avoid some of the troubles this man has sadly suffered and brought onto himself. But overall, though, I think it's a fantastic film. I really enjoyed watching it, and I think I'm going to go back to it a few more times just to kind of grow my appreciation for it and understand what they were going for and my own interpretation of it. But overall, I think it was a pretty great film. Jimbo, how did you feel?
Man, it's one of those movies that has been on my radar for years. When you look at the top 100 movies, and the reason we do this podcast is for films like this that I haven't seen, which forces me to watch them to be ready for the episode. De Niro gives an outstanding performance in this movie, almost to the point where you don't like him. It kind of made me mad.
Even from the end, I didn't see him as being redeemed by the end.
No. Hopefully the real LaMotta found
some closure in his life, some form of redemption,
because especially if he's asking, was I really like this? And she said you were worse. I wonder how that made him feel.
Yeah. How do you come to terms with that?
If you can get through the language, Because to me, that kind of took me out of the movie, because I don't need to hear that every 2 minutes of the movie. And I understand, when most Italian Americans or mobster movies, because this almost reminded me of a mobster movie in a way. Because you go to the bars, you go to the clubs, and they got the little
Scorsese has made so many mobster movies.
Right, The Godfather and all that. Right, so to me, it was just. Matter of fact, I don't think Scorsese didn't even do The Godfather, did he?
No, he didn't do The Godfather, but of course, Goodfellas.
Where were we on that? I made a mistake there too.
Well, The Irishman. But I'm not going to call you a liar, Jimbo.
Yeah, just call me a liar.
Yeah.
But to me, it was well worth one watch. Will I go back and watch it again? Probably not for a while. Also, do I think it's a top 10 movie? Probably not. I do like the way they shot it, the black and white. I like black and white films anyway, and the way they did that was really good. But the dive into the guy's life, man, is just, you never really understood what made him the way he was.
Yeah,
you don't have no backstory to it. You don't know a lot about his life prior to him being in the boxing ring. You don't know a lot of the stuff. You know that he's going after this guy's girlfriend while he's a married man.
Yeah.
And she was young too, wasn't she? She wasn't even 16 maybe or something. She wasn't very old either. So,
I mean, he is the portrait of an insecure man in so many generalities. And he has no cause, but he has all the symptoms of an insecure man. Everything he does is all about how he doesn't feel adequate. So he just takes off with these ludicrous actions that destroy it. He takes these self-destructive these actions, so it makes it very hard to watch, even though it's still a very accurate depiction of the real man and a tough film to watch for that reason.
Right. But I mean, he was hoping for at least a redeeming quality or something at the end of the movie after seeing everything that went on in his life. You know what I mean? He was hoping for a happy ending, but it just kind of stopped, like at his nightclub. You know what I mean? He's going on stage as a comedian.
For me, the toughest moment of the film was definitely him in the prison cell, punching against the wall, screaming why, of clearly recognizing that he brings all of these to himself and he's kind of getting what he deserves. That was for me the only moment of a semblance of redemption, of that he's realized that he is doing constant harm to himself and the people around him, the people he cares about. But
it was also because of his involvement with those younger girls at that club. Remember that he had to take his championship belt and he's digging the diamonds out of there and he's trying to take it to the pawn shop. He's like, I can give you like $2,000 for this. He's like, well, where's the belt part? He's like, well, I kept it. Or he's like, you should have just left it on there and brought the whole thing.
Yeah,
would have been worth more. Yeah. Right. So very, very troubling to see all what he went through. But it was a movie that's going to make you think. Don't go and watch it thinking that's just a sports movie about a boxing ring.
Yeah, this is not Rocky Robert De Niro. This is not
I thought it was going to be about a life story of an actual boxer and see more boxing in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This dives from the boxing ring into a man's personal life. I guess it's more about a personal life of the boxer than it is his boxing career.
Yeah,
and to see how just how the drugs and everything took over, where he could get punched in the face and he's like, hit me, and he just said, "Is that all you got? Just hit me in the face." Because he's even telling Joe Pesci at a point, "Hit me in the face, hit me as hard as you can."
Yeah, and it's nothing to him. Yeah.
No, so very, very interesting movie. I'd say at least watch it one time if you can stand everything that we've talked about. The language, the violence, the drugs.
Yeah. If you feel up for it, I think it's worth it. But also, I understand if you don't want to go to it, because it's sometimes like it's
a heavy movie.
You can it is too real for a lot of audiences. I mean, especially if you've suffered through these things, watching that in the film can be very disheartening. I totally understand that. So if you think I don't want to feel the way this movie tries to make you feel, I totally get it.
Right, yeah,
honestly,
So I think we're going to wrap up this episode. Next week we are going to take a totally different turn,
a much more lightheaded turn.
Right, we'll be talking on the seventh voyage of Sinbad.
All right,
and it's a very interesting movie in its own right, but a lot more comical. Right. So we'll have a good time with that. So with that being said, I think that's a wrap on this episode.
And cut.